Listen up, Agent. The following briefing is brought to you by From the Helicarrier, your #1 news source for Marvel's Avengers Alliance, and the Marvel Avengers Alliance Wikipedia. Welcome back, Agent. With the knowledge of some of the more common effects in battle now under your belt, I think it's well past time that we start gearing you up and preparing you for the fight at hand. While the weapons that we can supply you from the armory will be able to serve you well, the weapons that you can collect in battle will often surpass what we're capable of making outside of a Spec Ops. As such, today we're going to be going over the weapons that you can collect from the different missions. I just have to make 2 notes about that before we get into the grid of things though. First off, we will not be going over the weapons within Season 1. The reason for this is because while there are a few good weapons here and there that might help you in a fight, they are by far and away outclassed by the weapons you can obtain in Season 2. Not only that, but in Season 1 you must fight the mission in challenge mode to get a weapon that will scale with your current level, whereas this isn't the case for Season 2. The second note I'm wanting you to be aware of is the fact that I'm going to be mostly focusing on the challenge mode version of these weapons. In near every case, the weapons won from these more difficult missions are simply better in all respects, often adding features, changing effects, or even allowing for hitting all foes. Only within recent missions have we seen this change, with our enemies changing their weapons between modes, and when we cover that in our briefings, I will note the differences in weapons that you're capable of obtaining. Jumping straight into the first mission of Chapter 1, Artificial Sweetener, you'll end up fighting against Sugarman, a rather gruesome individual. From him, you'll be able to grab the Einfeld SA-80 Assault Rifle A2. A rather basic weapon with no real special effects that we'll be seeing on future weapons, this is still a rather decent gun to equip yourself with regardless because of the damage it can do. At the very least, it's a weapon to use should you lack anything else of benefit. Mission 2, Transatlantic, finds us fighting against Mystique of the Brotherhood of Mutants. Defeating her in battle will gain you the restored Lewis automatic machine gun. This is where you'll start to see effects weapons can have and see how this one is superior to the Season 1 weapons. Not only does the machine gun give the trench warfare effect, an effect currently unique to it granting you increased evasion, but it will attack all enemies and place the shell-shocked debuff on them. I'll go over shell-shocked in depth in another briefing. Sword and Stone is where you'll find our next weapon, though sad to say it isn't a sword at all. The Dragoness will need to be defeated should you want the restored Stein submachine gun. It has a chance to allow you to get a follow-up attack against your foes as if you had the Scrapper buff, though it has a fairly low chance of failing altogether, an upgrade from the normal version of this weapon. Coming from Mission 4, Vulture MP has 2 weapons for us, one that will fall from Vulture himself once you beat him. The restored Welrod silenced pistol will not only do higher damage with its higher chance in doing critical hits, but being stealthy also makes it much easier for you to hit your intended target. Though why it gives out the combo setup debuff, I am not sure. The second weapon, the Stopped Razor, requires you to fight the epic boss Dr. Octopus in the same mission. The blade turns out to be quite useful against enemies that just don't wish to die, with both Brutal Strike and Fatal Blow baked into it. I'll be going over both of these effects in finer detail in another briefing. Mission 5, God Save the Queen, will offer you a tough fight with Celine of the Hellfire Club. Defeating her in battle though will net you the restored Delisle Commando Carbine, a rather useful if slightly limited weapon. Stealthy in nature and guaranteed to hit, it works fantastically against those foes who love to constantly counterattack you. Coming from the final mission of Chapter 1, To Catch a Thief will have you fighting both a normal and epic boss once again. Fixer will be the first you'll find yourself fighting, of which you'll want to be careful. Should you defeat him, the restored Vickers Machine Gun might be found in his stash. A rather frightening weapon, not only is it catastrophic, but it has 2 weapon effects all on its own. Complicated will stop you from using the weapon should you decide to use anything else during your current turn. It will also lock you out of any other weapon that you might want to use in favor of itself. What it gets in return for this strong limitation though is the fact that you'll be able to attack as many times as you want with this weapon with the Grand Old Lady effect. Every turn you do not use this weapon, you'll get a piece of belt-fed ammo. This ammo can then be used at your discretion to constantly shoot the weapon for as many times as you have the ammo. Ending this briefing, MODOK, the epic boss of this mission, will drop the final weapon of this chapter. The Glass 10 is a rather interesting weapon that has a 60% chance to grant you the ethereal effect, a type of phasing. What is phasing, you ask? Well, Agent, that's something we'll get into next time. Until then, dismissed!